Hello, and welcome to Hello Word, the podcast where we explore fascinating English words. I'm your host, Alex, and today we're diving into a word that can sometimes feel a little intimidating: confrontation. So, what exactly is a confrontation? Well, it's a noun, and it refers to an angry meeting or situation in which people argue or disagree strongly. It's a clash, a face-off, a showdown of words and often emotions. It's not just a simple disagreement. It implies a direct and often hostile encounter. We use the word confrontation to describe situations where people are facing each other to address a problem or conflict head-on, and usually not in a very pleasant way. Think of a situation where you might have to tell someone something they don't want to hear, and it escalates into a heated exchange. That's a confrontation. Now, let's explore some synonyms for confrontation. Words that share a similar meaning but might carry slightly different nuances. One synonym is altercation. An altercation suggests a noisy dispute, often in public. For example, the police were called to break up the altercation outside the bar. Another synonym is quarrel. A quarrel usually refers to a petty argument or disagreement, often between people who know each other well. For example, they had a silly quarrel about who should do the dishes. Then we have clash, which implies a more direct and forceful opposition. For example, there was a clash of opinions during the meeting regarding the new policy. Also consider dispute. A dispute is a disagreement or argument, often involving a legal or formal matter. For example, the neighbors are in a dispute over the property line. Finally, let's consider standoff. A standoff describes a situation where neither side is willing to give in, creating a tense stalemate. For example, the negotiations reached a standoff and no progress was made. Now, what about the opposite of confrontation? What are some antonyms that describe situations where conflict is avoided or resolved peacefully? One antonym is harmony. Harmony suggests a state of agreement and peaceful coexistence. For example, they worked together in harmony to complete the project. Another antonym is agreement. Agreement refers to a situation where people are in accord and share the same views. For example, the two companies reached an agreement after months of negotiations. We can also use the word peace. Peace is a state of tranquility and the absence of conflict. For example, they longed for peace after years of war. Then there's conciliation. Conciliation refers to the act of bringing people together to resolve a dispute peacefully. For example, the mediator attempted conciliation between the parties. And finally, compromise. Compromise means an agreement or settlement of a dispute that is reached by each side making concessions. For example, they reached a compromise after a long discussion. Now, let's see how the word confrontation can be used in everyday life. You might say, I try to avoid confrontation whenever possible. Or, the meeting turned into a heated confrontation. Another example, she dreaded the confrontation with her boss about her performance. You could also say, he's known for his aggressive style and tendency towards confrontation. Here are some more examples of confrontation in sentences and phrases. She sought to resolve the issue without resorting to confrontation. The threat of confrontation loomed over the negotiations. The confrontation left her feeling drained and upset. He initiated a confrontation with his neighbor over the noise. Avoid unnecessary confrontations. Choose your battles wisely. To summarize, confrontation is an angry meeting or conflict. Its synonyms include altercation, quarrel, clash, dispute, and standoff. Its antonyms include harmony, agreement, peace, conciliation, and compromise. Remember, while confrontation can sometimes be necessary, it's often better to seek peaceful resolutions whenever possible. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Hello Word. I hope you found it informative and helpful. If you enjoyed this episode, Please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your support helps others discover our show and learn new words. Now for your challenge. Create your own sentence using the word confrontation and share it as a comment under the video. I look forward to reading them. Until next time, keep learning and keep exploring the wonderful world of words.